or anything like that. So
we should do one.
We will, we'll have we'll have all that stuff put in place, but it's been, and actually the reason why we have the following that we have, or whatever the case may be, is because we take imperfect action. It's not like you waited for the perfect post to go viral, or I waited for the perfect video to be made. So this is just a true testament to our character and what we're doing anyway, right? So
dude, it's funny, man. Like seriously, I've said this before. I've said it to other people. Like, you're putting more valuable content out there, and like if you look at your history, my history, I mean, it's not perfect, man. And we've got this whole group of people, like all these people all over the place. They're like, shit, I got to get it dialed in. I got to do this. I got to do this. And I'm a victim of that sometimes too in my own mind. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But the reality is, like, the more real and raw you get, I mean, our boy Garrett, went down this path and taught us this about being real, raw, and relevant. Like, the more real you are, the more truth you're talking, the more relevance you're sharing, like real shit with the marketplace. To me, that's why stuff's gone viral. To me, that's why Facebook's blown up. To me, that's why, like, you're going to get not only the haters, but you're also going to get all the fans that are like, holy shit, I like what this guy says. Like, I shared this thing today about being, like, really direct with my conversation. People were calling me, like, a dick, saying that I was being an asshole because I was super clear with my communication. The dude's like, hey, can I call you at 2 o'clock? I'm like, no. Well, why do you have to be an asshole? What do you mean? How is saying yes or no being an asshole? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I love about communicating with you. It's like, do you want to do this? Yes or no? No. Cool. Yes. It's all there is. There's no bullshit. There's no rhetoric. There's no feelings behind it or whatever else. It's like, this is what it is,
Absolutely, man. Hey, can I just come here for a second? Like, I don't know, like, how many people. Can I just take? I want to, like, the first thing. One of the coolest things about being me is that, like, we have nice things, but this is definitely, like, it's not bad. Like, see boobs right there on the thing. So,
what's up, girl?
One of the coolest things about being me is I have this around at all times. So that's like.
So one of the coolest things about being me is I got my boy right here. I got Abe Lincoln right here. You see his face.
I see your girl, man. I met your girl in person. I know better than that. She may not be around right this second, but I met her. I know better. So last week we were just shooting the shit, right? And we were like, hey man, we should do some kind of hangout. And people are always sending us, like, messages. I know people are saying, hey, you should do some more stuff with Sean. The show that you did with Sean, you guys are a lot alike, and I know you jokingly always say that, if you run for president, then you want me to do some shit, which I have no fucking interest in doing. By the way, I'm flattered, but I have no interest, right? I'm too direct, man.
Look at to roll around in, like, Humvees.
Bullet at me. I'm not that good at, like.
Look at to roll around in Humvees and dudes with, like, machine guns and shit, travel on big ass private jets. Trust me, you want to do that.
If I could get my right to shoot guns back, that would be awesome, right? That would save me.
Whatever you did, I just pardoned it. It's pardoned and it's done. The slate's wiped clean, America.
All right, so here's the thing that I want to talk about first this week, right? Like, we could talk about if you're looking for something of mine where you learn about marketing and business, like, go to my website, man. Like, this isn't really going to be that type of place. Like, from time to time, we might talk business stuff just because that's what we do. But really, this is just me and my boy Sean hanging out, having a conversation, and we're really welcoming the outside world. This is the kind of shit that we talk about on a regular basis anyway, and we just want to welcome you guys to it. So, man, in the news today is Donald Trump, right? The world's greatest hairpiece. And, people say about old Donald, they say that, it's about time we've had a third candidate in here, or an outside source. Well, first of all, he's running Republican, so he's really not an outside independent source, right? That's like off. That would be Bernie Sanders or somebody like that. Second thing is I haven't been paying attention to this stuff for very long, but this is the fourth race to my best recollection that Donald Trump's trying to get in, right? So it's not like this is his first time.
He ran his mouth before PR stunts, like, I'm going to run, I'm going to run, I'm going to run. And then he's like, nah, I'm just kidding. This is like the first one where he really hung his hat and was like, all right, I'm going to drop some dough, and I'm legitimately filing paperwork with America to run for president. So,
okay. Well, that makes a little bit more sense. But I knew he had been, like, dabbling or whatever for a long time. But, it seems to me that, especially with the Mexican comments right now, remember, I live in Texas. I speak Spanish. First of all, don't tell nobody. but I speak Spanish, right? Which has gotten me out of muy jams, right? Many a jam in Mexico. But I have and I grew up working for a car wash where I was the only person that spoke English. Well, that's like how I had to learn Spanish, right? Because that's what my stepdad growing up put me to work at. So I have a lot of respect for that community and understand a whole other side. Like, it's one thing to see that these people that are jumping the border or maybe drugs or the shit that Donald said, but I've seen the hardworking side also that sends their money back. Now, I've been in prison too, right? So I've seen the illegal crime side of that community and the white community and any other community as well, right? But what I see happening right now is it seems like let's just say, for example, like the Democrats maybe paid Donald Trump to say this kind of shit and run under the Republican flag, right? So that it just further like makes the mass media have some sort of bigotry to relate to the Republican Party, right? Last night or this morning, I was looking up the statistics on the Ku Klux Klan because I heard some clown on the radio talking about them and shit like that. I made a video about it. And, you know, the thing is the Ku Klux Klan was listed as a Republican no, it didn't say Republican, it said far right.
Right, yeah.
Right? Well, what actually back then they were considered far left because Democrats and Republicans were two different things back then. But like, it's funny how they classify anything as far right, but you never really hear far left or whatever. So the reason why I say all that is it seems like Donald's nothing more than some way for the liberals and stuff to be able to, and I'm neither one of them, just for the audience. I could give a fuck, Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter. But I could see the marketing scheme behind this of the Democrats putting Donald up to say, hey, say a bunch of bigoted shit, say a bunch of dumb shit so that we can further, you know, attach the Confederate flag, Donald Trump, and all this other negative shit towards the Republican as we go into this new one.
Here's why, though, like, dude, I love Donald. I've had a chance to work with him. I've had a chance to meet the guy. I hung out with his daughter. I mean, I've done more than just see him on TV kind of thing. Here's the thing, though. Like, he's got the dough.
He does have money.
That's the thing. Like, you can't buy him. Like, what are they going to do, give him $1 billion? I mean, shit, Hillary's going to try and raise $1 billion to run, right? So when you think about it, like, it's not money. Like, I don't see Trump being motivated by money where he's, like, in the political sense. I mean, he's an ego freaking maniac. So if you look at, like, I was watching all of his shit today and all the letters that he's sending out and all this other stuff, what he's trying to do is say, like, look, see, I'm the hero, right? Like, I'm the guy I'm gonna disconnect with these guys, I'm gonna disconnect with these guys, NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, whoever. He's just gonna kind of like drop these bombs to create the waves to get what? You and I talking about them.
Right.
To get the Drudge Report talking about them, to get Fox and CNN, NBC. But like, when you stop and think about it, man, like, the reason I like Trump and the reason is he's polarizing, man. He doesn't give a shit. He'll say what he wants to say, and that's what we're missing. In my opinion, that's why I feel like, you know, you and I have a following that we do. This is why I'm intrigued by politics, is because I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. And I don't say that in a negative way. I don't set out on my day to, like, hurt people's feelings, but I look at it from the perspective of I'm here to say what I want to say. Like, God's given me my own brain, my own heart, my own soul, my own words, and I'm going to speak those. I don't care if you like it or not. And that's where I see Donald Trump coming in. And so it's like, to me, dude, he's freaking brilliant because he's polarizing. But, I mean, nobody wants to deal with him because he's like the hot freaking potato. Like, the Democrats don't want to freaking – they don't want to debate him. Could you imagine him and Hillary? Bro, I'd give anything to see him and Hillary debate shit because he wouldn't talk about the actual facts. He'd be like, look, bitch, here's the deal. Here's what's going down. You know what I mean?
He is. Right.
Like, the same way you and I would without being like, oh, wait, what? Oh, my constituency is saying what now? Oh, wait, I should say this now? Wait, what are the puppets telling me? Oh. You know, he's just going to be like, fuck you, this is what the deal is. That's why I like Trump, dude, but, you know.
So what do you think about, like, NBC, who hosts the Miss Universe and Miss America pageants, and then you have
Universe. How much money he's going to potentially lose from that or stands to lose from that? Like,
that's what I'm saying. What do you think about that? Like, obviously, in a time when you need money to run for president, because Hillary Clinton ain't broke. Her and Bill get like $1 billion of speaking.
They got so much freaking money, it's crazy.
So much money, yeah, it's unreal. So he doesn't need to be losing money in any organization, obviously, even if it's based on his principles. So, and plus, you don't want to piss the media off because obviously they're running a smear campaign and shit as it is anyway against them, right? Like, they can, just like Ron Paul, he was completely ignored by the media and he was winning, right? And so you don't piss the media off.
I'm telling you, bro, this is the deal. And you and I have talked about politics a lot. And the reality is, like, when you play in the same sandbox as everybody else, you're going to get treated like everybody else. And I've said this from the beginning, like the person that dominates this thing right here, the person that understands how to use this, because this is where all of our eyeballs are, this is where all of our communication with our friends, our family, our business, everything we do is with this damn freaking device right in front of us, right? Like, why somebody would try and go down the path of like trying to get on CNN, CNBC, Fox, whatever, instead of trying to capitalize on this deal here, forget about it. You know what I mean? Look at Ryan. He's got to go regulate, and he's going to go whoop some ass right now. Hey, if you guys are on Meerkat, or you're on Periscope, I know Ryan's on Periscope. I'm on Meerkat.
Yo, yeah, we're on Periscope over here. We got quite a few people lined up over here.
Yeah, I actually says, like some people are hitting me up on Meerkat saying they like Trump, whatever. Like, I'm a fan, man. I'm a fan. Here's why. I'm an independent conservative. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I mean, plain and simple, done and done. I don't subscribe to either one. I think both of them, both parties are as crooked as the other party. I mean, politics is all about the constituency. It's all about the dollars. I mean, if you look at the top contributors, and this is why Trump is, again, playing in the same sandbox, why he's like, oh, people are thinking he's going to put his own money into the campaign. He's going to do the same thing that Mitt Romney did. Mitt Romney put something like $7.8 million of his own cash in, and then he's like, yo, I'm tapping out. I'm going to go raise the rest. He raised $500 million just like Barack Obama raised $500 million. Donald Trump's still going to have to play ball if he wants to play in the same sandbox, which means he's going to have to go raise a shit ton of money. He's not going to put $500 million. Donald Trump doesn't have to have $500 million liquid anyways. So he might front a couple million cash, but he's got to play in the same sandbox. So the dude, the girl, the guy, whoever, steps up to the plate and understands that this is the power versus giving reach-arounds, giving hand jobs to all the corporations and whatever, that's the person that's going to win. That's the person that's going to change politics as you and I know it.
So let's think about that for a minute. Let's say Mitt Romney raised $500 million, okay, and to run for president. Now, you and I, we come from the marketing world. So where'd that money really go?
Dude, I got letters, and I'm a Mitt Romney fan. I know Mitt Romney. I've met him. I know his kids. I live here in Utah, and some of his kids are here. Like, I got 4 or 5 letters a week from Mitt Romney. And I'm starting to do the math, and I'm like, okay, he's got a couple million people that he's sending out these mailers to. I mean, Homeboy's spending millions every single month just on postage to send this shit out to people to raise more money. And every single thing I got from him, even though I was already a donor, was give us more money, give us more money, give us more money. So it's like the you know what I'm saying?
Not just any political organization.
It's the same thing, dude. Like the TV spots. I mean, what did Hillary spend on her logo? I mean, that piece of shit. I mean, I'm not saying it because I don't like Hillary. I'm saying it because it looks like dog shit. Whoever designed her logo, like, literally should be like friggin' exiled someplace crazy. But they spent something like $70,000. You see her logo, the H with the freaking cross.
But think about it, like 99 Designs made a company the other day. I saw 99 Designs made $1 billion, a company that has $1 billion valuation right now. Their logo was created with 99 Designs. I don't remember what company it was. It was one of their ads on Facebook or whatever. Just like that just goes to show you government waste. Or the people that have money that didn't work for it, right? Let's just say it that way. And the other thing is, like, you think about, like, you said that's a prime example, that the fact that you and I could pay $50 to get a logo, right? Or the fact that she paid $70,000, just like you and I could create software that could solve 99% of the world's problems on odesk.com for $5,000 or $10,000. But however, they spent, what was it, $300 million on the Obamacare or the healthcare website, and right? Yeah, it's still not.
It doesn't even work, man.
Right. When you and I could have outsourced that shit to, some dude Javier in the Philippines that could have done that shit in 2 weeks.
True. I mean, this isn't going to turn into a political show, but this is what you and I are passionate about, and we're going to talk about whatever the fuck we want. So if you don't like politics, I mean, peace out, go somewhere else. But the reality is, like, this is the problem, bro. It's like, it's so big. The government's so big. There's like billions that are tossed around. I mean, the government loses billions every single year. Billions, not like hundreds of thousands or millions. I'm talking billions of dollars are like misplaced and misappropriated every single year. Like, when you get that big, that you're losing billions, where'd that money come from? You want to know where that money come from? came from? You and me. It came from taxes. It came from you and I busting our ass. We give it to the government. They're like, let's just fuck around, give this guy a bunch. Oh, shit, we're missing $1 billion, whatever. We'll just keep taxing the shit out of everybody. That's what the problem is. I mean, if you look at it from just a straight-up corporation, which all these people tell me, America's not a corporation. Dude, America's the largest fucking corporation on the planet. I don't give a shit what you think about that. It is the God's honest truth. And at the end of the day, if you looked at a CEO of any company, Tim Cook with Apple, if Tim Cook starts losing billions, even millions, Tim Cook's going to be unemployed. Plain and simple. Tim Cook will not be running Apple anymore.
Apple's been through it before. Remember, Jobs had to come back for $1 a year.
That's just what it is. And yet we think the government's different. We look at it and we're like, well, shit, there's nothing I can do about it. And I don't believe that. I believe that you can absolutely do something about it. And this is the tool right here, man. I'm telling you, like.
Everybody has it. Everybody has it in their hand right now.
Dude, I posted a video about racism a couple months ago, and that thing's had 5.5 million views. Now, that's like nothing compared to like Kim Kardashian's ass or Bruce Jenner's cutting his freaking dick off.
That's legit numbers, man. I know what it takes to get to 20 grand, dude. So 5 million, let alone 100 grand, dude. Like
5.5 million.
Like that's legit fucking numbers, man.
That thing's been shared 200,000 times. And I look at it from the perspective of, if I can do that with my iPhone sitting out front of my son's school, when you stop and think about spending $500 million on a political campaign versus being able to have a message that people really resonate with, that makes sense. It's like, hey, let's shrink the size of this thing. Let's get our spending under control. Let's stop fucking around like eating at the entire world when our kids are going hungry. Like, when you stop and think about that, and you can do that with an iPhone, man, you get millions of followers, it kind of starts to make you wonder, like, why would I donate money to this politician's campaign when all it's going to do is end up being resent back to me in the form of an envelope asking for more money?
Exactly. Over and over again.
Fucking common sense.
Yep. You remember, like, you ever seen when I used to do like real estate investing, and I bet you've seen this too, man, is like that you get the letter in the mail and somebody sends you $1 and they're like, if you'll send these dollars to these amount of people, they'll send you dollars in return. Like, it's like basically, yeah, you ever seen that shit? It's like, but you know what? The other day, here's a good example of the government. We were playing on two different levels, obviously, but the other day, Amy and I were talking. I bought some shoes in February for the boys that were like $70 for 4 pair of shoes from Vans, get the boys some kicks or whatever, my 2 toddlers. And so we never got them. And so it was like May or June. And I'm like, oh shit, man, what happened to those Vans that we bought online that we never got, right? And she's like, oh, I don't know, I have to research it. She goes, I can't find it, fuck it. I don't know if we got our money back or not. Like, chalk that up to missing $7, right? And so, which isn't a whole lot of money. But you think about it, like, my budget's about $1 million a year. So the budget for the United States government is what, 16 trillion a year or some astronomical number. So for them to be missing $1 billion, like legitimately $1 billion ain't shit, just like the $70 to me. And it's like, hey, I'm going to go and I could go and spend 20 minutes on a phone call with a potential client and make, $2,500 to 20 grand and, not worry about the $70, or I could go spend an hour trying to track down how the fuck I paid Van $70, or I could just chalk it up to the game. So it's the same with the exhaustive resources of the government, which brings me to my next point before I move on to the next one after that, is that
somebody just asked this question, and I'm going to ask you this question. What is somebody on Meerkat? So if you guys got questions, hit me up on Meerkat and ask.
Yeah, I'm watching the Periscope too.
I want to know what your answer is in this, Ryan. He said, what is the one quality about Mr. Trump that's the most intriguing to you about him? What stands him apart? That's from B Bigelow 1. So what's the one thing, the one quality about Trump that's the most intriguing to you?
So the thing that interests me the most about him is that, and I do not know him, right? Like, I don't, like, just full disclaimer, I don't know anything about the dude. I don't pay attention to this kind of shit or anything else. He has a TV show, owns some golf courses, those kind of things. So, but the perception on my end is that he has his own money. I know that he took his dad's corporation, all that, but he basically has his own money, and he shouldn't have, and he's a polarizing dude who he seems to stand by what he says, whether it's fucking asinine or not. He seems to stand by it. So the thing that I like about him is that he could be, even though he may have some fucked up opinions on some things, like saying everybody from Mexico is a rapist. That's pretty fucked up, right? But so he may have some polarizing views on that. The fact is, he's not paid to say certain things by other corporations. So a guy like, and I like Obama, right? Like I like him. I don't have like anything. He's no different than Bush or Clinton or anything. Like, he's our president. I'll deal with it, right? Now, does he do a lot of dumb shit? Yes. Did I vote for him? No. But did I vote for anybody else? No. So but I don't dislike him, right? I respect his authority and his position, and he's done some cool shit for our country, and he's done some uncool shit, just like any other president, right? But the thing is with these guys is Obama, man, he didn't really have any success or his own money before, so you knew whoever paid for him to become this marketing machine has Obama in his back pocket. You know, George Bush, you knew that the CIA and his dad and the fucking Defense Department funded his entire presidential campaign, and you knew he owed, which how 9/11 happened, we go into that another episode, but you knew all those things like were in place for him, and you knew that Obama didn't have any money, so somebody had to, like, if you live in a house and you don't pay rent, somebody's paying your rent for you. You know, and so with Donald Trump, seems like he'd be able to move into the house and pay his own rent. However, I don't really support the dude just because he's an egomaniac. I'm an egomaniac, so it takes one to know one. But he's an egomaniac, and although we may need that in our foreign policy, he would seem to cause a lot of problems domestically. But speaking of domestic, man.
But Woody, though, here's my question. Like, Woody, for real, like, no bullshit. Because here's the thing, he might say something stupid about Mexicans, right? And let's we're like, no bullshit. This is the thing that I love about talking to you about this stuff. You've said some pretty whack shit in your life.
Of course.
As have I, right? And I bet you every freaking person watching this, everybody streaming on Meerkat, everybody on Periscope, every dude watching this is going to be like, I've never said any dumb shit like that. You're full of it. You're absolutely full of it.
We've all said racist shit. We've all said big shit. Yeah, absolutely.
That's the difference between Trump and everybody else. Is everybody else sitting here going, what should I say?
Pointing fingers and shit.
What do you want me to say? Ask the freaking pharmaceutical companies what I should say about this. Trump's like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I think, this is what I feel. In my opinion, that's what America needs. Like, that's what we got to break that cycle and that chain of, like, the puppets. He's like Obama, dude. It was a one-term sentence. Let's be serious for a second. I don't even think the dude was worth, what was he worth, like maybe 75 grand when he came in office? He didn't have any money. He didn't have two nickels to rub together. And I'm not saying that's the judge or like the benchmark of who should or shouldn't be president or what makes you credible.
But it plays a fucking major factor. Yeah.
He can give hand jobs to whoever would freaking give him the money to elect him president. So when he's president, what's he doing? Wait a second. What? My teleprompter's broken. We're going to cut this thing. Wait, what? Big pharmaceutical. Pfizer. What? Where Trump's like, however, he is going to have to play in the same sandbox. So to me, it's like, it's this vicious circle, bro, that just keeps going and going and going. But like, you know. Here's somebody said, I love some of these questions. So I'm going to bang this question out really quick and we'll jump on the next thing. He says, how do you think he would do steering our military? Here's something to think about. I want everybody to listen to this for 2 seconds, right? Because this is deep shit if you stop and you think about it. People have talked to me because I'm really serious about politics, and I'm 100% serious. Like, at some point in time, I'm going to run for president, right? Maybe 2016, maybe whatever. Who the hell knows? I'll announce my announcement later. But here's the deal. What man or woman on this planet is qualified to be president of the United States of America? Right?
I'm not going to say, who do you think would be next? Who's
no,
next?
But no, I'm not talking about next. I'm saying what man or woman, like let's talk Mitt Romney, let's talk George Bush, let's talk Ronald Reagan, like, oh, Ronald, let's talk friggin' any of these guys, let's talk Abe Lincoln, let's talk JFK. What man or woman is qualified, has the training, whatever, to become president of the United States? I don't remember there being a college course on how do I put my finger on the nukes enough that would detonate the entire freaking world. I don't remember anybody, even Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney ran and made millions and millions of dollars.
Hey, if you became president and you had the suitcase with the nukes on it, man, Would you would you from time to time, would you touch it just to see what it felt like? I think I would put my balls on it, man. I really do. I think that, like, if they gave me the suitcase with it, I would definitely want to like teabag a nuclear weapon.
Rubbing it on your boobs.
Yes.
On an Air Force One, like I
can when I'm having sex, I might just hold the thing up in the air just in case, right? Like the ultimate climax.
To a whole nother level. Somebody's gonna
carry it to a whole nother level. So
hey, for real though, for real. Think about this, people, because here's what you're thinking. Most people on this planet are like, he's more qualified, or she's more qualified, or this, that, and the other. No one on this planet. Listen to what I'm saying. No one on this planet. I don't give a shit what Ivy League school you went to. I don't care how many years you served in the military. I don't care what your pedigree is. How many multi-billion-dollar companies you flipped, Mitt Romney. No man or woman is qualified to be president of the United States of America. No one has ever achieved that level of leadership, has led that many people, has had that big of a company, has dealt with that big of a budget, or has had the power to literally blow up the entire fucking planet like 16 times over. So just be clear on this for 2 seconds. No one is qualified. So who then becomes quote-unquote qualified? I mean, we elected. I mean, look at Ronald Reagan. He was an actor. He was an actor, right? Who became governor, just like freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger. Shoe in Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger. So the question is, what would Trump? What would he do steering our military? I think Trump would be the exact same way that he is now. He'd be like, you know what? I'm here to build America. Fuck everybody else. Let's build America. Like, let's make America strong. And if China doesn't like it, China can eat a dick. And if India doesn't like it, India can eat a dick. That's what I see him doing. Truthfully, that's the kind of president, in my opinion, we need, is somebody that puts America first, stabilize our economy, stabilize our people, feed our kids, get our shit. You can't get anybody else's house in order until your house is in order. Period.
Well, most people don't realize that the planet is just like you're a human. If somebody removes your heart or your brain or your lungs, you can't live anymore. Our planet, if somebody removed China from the equation, the United States couldn't live anymore either, right? So we can't take each other off the planet. We rely too much for manufacturing there, for innovation here. We rely on oil and shit from the Middle East. Like, there's just no way to really stay mad at each other forever. So, but that brings me to our next point that I want to talk about.
I love that you have to stay on point, dude. I love that you have like topics for us to talk about. This is like an essential show.
I do. As all these years and all the things that we've seen in our time, we've watched the gay community take over the rainbow. We really have. Like, right now, the gay community, they own the rainbow. They like took it over in our lifetime. Like when I was young, dude, I wore like rainbow shirts and stuff. It was like normal things. And then as like you became like 10 years old and the gay community adopted that as their flag, they basically took that over. And so now, if you like walk into a room and you have like a rainbow anything on, it could be just like a slight rainbow. People are like, I fucking knew it. Right? Like, especially your homeboys are like, bro, I fucking knew it, man. Like, yeah, it's about time you come out. Congratulations, Sean. When are you gonna get gay married, right? But so we've watched that happen with the gay and lesbian or whatever the hell you want to call that community, right? But we're watching that same thing happen right before our eyes right now with the Confederate flag, which I could give a shit about. But the black community has like fucking really got some steam behind this. And, to the educated person, now, I'm not a supporter of the Confederate flag. I don't own anything with the Confederate flag. I never have my entire life, right? But the thing is, like, the true story behind the Civil War was that it was a states' rights thing, right? Whether you want to try to spin it racism because that was the moral thing to do, slaves were going to get freed anyway, right? Because at some point, there's some point where people are like, wow, dude, these are human beings. Just like with the gay community, at some point, they deserve to get married. Exactly, right? And he had failed in multiple ways and everything else, Abraham Lincoln, but it was more than just that, which is what we try to make it this single. That would be like saying the war in Iraq was over one single incident. No, it was over a whole bunch of stuff for over, you know what I mean? Or the Vietnam War was over one single incident. It's never that easy. But now we're seeing the black community for real say, take down this Confederate flag and get rid of it, which A, is weird to want to get rid of history, although That's like 1984 stuff, you know, George Orwell stuff. But on the other hand, I get what it stands for. It shouldn't be flying out in front of the courthouse. I believe that, like, hey, you know, that war was lost a long time ago. That's kind of weird, but
I'm throwing a penalty flag. Okay?
Lay it on me, man.
Penalty flag. What? How pissed off were you 30 days ago about the Confederate flag, bro?
Me? Oh no, I didn't really give a shit about the flag.
You didn't give a shit, nor did anybody else in this country. Nobody gave a shit about the Confederate flag 30 days ago. So what happened?
The media started making us mad at it. Yeah.
What happened? The media got you and everybody else in an uproar.
Well, the shooting happened. Well, the shooting happened.
Oh, it's so painful to me, and I hate it. And let's take it down. Meanwhile, you've been looking at that shit, living in freaking South Carolina or wherever the hell you're living, for the last however many years you've been on this planet, and you haven't said one thing about it. But now all of a sudden it's like, take it down. Think about that.
Well, actually, I disagree. People have been bitching about the South Carolina flag, the South Carolina having a Confederate flag in the courthouse for many years now, actually. And really what set this whole thing off
I haven't had one dude
that went into the church
in the last 10 years with a Confederate flag.
So I can just assume that he was a racist asshole. Now, as a person who's been in the penitentiary with racist people on both sides of the spectrum, right? You know, a lot of people haven't ever met a Ku Klux Klan member, but I have in prison, right? I've met dudes that even had that shit tattooed all over there. I met Aryan Brotherhood, Dirty White Boys, Bloods, Crips, Tongo Blast, Mexican Mafia, Texas Syndicate. I've met all of these people like in real life, and I'm an inquisitive person. With at the time nothing but time on my hands, so I asked these people questions and shit like that. But you know, like it's this purely a racially motivated thing, and I get that, you know, that the dude went in and killed the 9 black people or whatever the case may be. But shit like that happens not every day, but it happens a lot on both ends of the spectrum.
Right? On both sides.
Yeah, on both sides.
Remember the knockout game? Hey, you remember the knockout game? You know, when all the black kids were running around town, freaking knocking out the white people.
Yep.
You remember that? I mean, just straight up sucker punching old ladies in the face, right? Did you see me go, you know what? This bonsai tree represents the knockout game. I want to ban all the fucking bonsai trees. Did you see me running around or anybody else going, hey, all the IKEA fucking voodoo dolls, we need to ban all these bitches and get them out or whatever. No, dude, it's all smoke and freaking mirrors.
It is, man. But here's the thing. So with this dude that killed these people, and us like understanding that, dude, I was like, I cut my damn leg open over here.
There's people watching.
I know, man. I cut my fucking leg open over here, scratching it. Mosquitoes in Florida do not play, bro.
You think how many channels going to give us a show deal while you're doing your desk?
Hey, I broke a record today, by the way. I uploaded a YouTube video of me making sales for 2.5 hours that was banned in 235 countries. Motherfucker, I didn't even know there was 235 countries. And so, but here's the deal. So with this, it has been offensive for a while. Now we're starting to bring attention to it. And you know what? It brings up another thing. Like now people are starting to say, well, the American flag stands for a lot of, you know, oppressive shit like that too, right? So
rainbow flag.
Rainbow flag, right? So here's the thing. So is it time for a new flag altogether?
What, in America?
Period.
Dude,
hey, first of all, we need to annex Puerto Rico anyway. So we're gonna have 51 stars before long, and Guam's coming too. So we're gonna have 51 stars before long.
Bro, which coffee cup offends you, man? Like we should ban them. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I don't get offended. But I'm asking, is it time for a new flag?
Is it
time for a rebrand? That's all I'm saying.
Well, let's just not hire Hillary Clinton's people, or else we'll look like a bunch of idiots.
99 designs, baby. They'll even do it for free.
Yes.
Now,
the thing about it, dude, you realize that this conversation has nothing to do with the flag.
Absolutely, it doesn't.
It has nothing to do with the flag. Like I posted a picture the other day.
Victimization enablement.
Look, I'm looking at stuff about the Trans-Pacific Partnership. We know what the hell we're talking about, bro. Like I can talk, you know, as somewhat educated on some of these things. And the reality is, when you look at the Confederate flag, no one gave a shit about the Confederate flag 30 days ago. And now everybody's like, oh, I really did. And it meant so much to me. And every time I drove by it, bullshit. You're a fucking liar. plain and simple. It's you're full of shit, and it's all smoke and mirrors. And again, it boils down to, dude, what is the media? You and I both know this. What is Facebook? Why, when you post stuff on Facebook, when you put a link to a YouTube video, when you put a link to Breakthrough Academy, or when I put a link to Lions Not Sheep, why doesn't Facebook let anybody see it? Because they want the eyeballs on Facebook.
They want to keep them there. Absolutely.
What is Fox, CNN, and ABC, and NBC, what do they jump on? They jump on the wave. They jump on what's popular. They stir the shit out of stuff. They rile people up, so you're like, did you see that report? Oh, shit, turn it on. And they turn it on, like, I can't believe that guy's saying that. I mean, all of these freaking people, dude, it's just, it's literally like, it's a circus, and the reality is people think that by eliminating a flag or taking a flag down off of a government building in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, I don't give a shit, that all of a sudden we're going to end racism. That all of a sudden white people aren't going to hate black people. That all of a sudden black people aren't going to punch white people in the face. Let's be serious for a second. It has nothing to do with a fucking flag. Wake up.
You're right, man. You know what is weird? And again, I'm going to go back to my experience in prison.
Hang on, do you think we could do an episode where we didn't cuss?
No. So we're too passionate, dude, you know? So, but I want to say this, like going back to being in prison. Now, when I was in the state prison system, I was a young man.
It has turned into little bitches. Everyone gets so butthurt easily.
Well, it was a really rough time, right? But in there, everybody pretty much openly admitted that they were racist to a point, right? Like nobody hid that shit. It was pretty common knowledge. And what happened was everybody seemed to have a better understanding of each other, because sometimes you'd be like, damn, dude, why the fuck would they do that to somebody? And they'd be like, hey, man, that's how they grew up. Don't worry about it. You know, and it was just like an understanding. It wasn't even a racist tone as much as it was like an understanding of each other's culture, right? And just like respecting, I guess, would be the thing. So, you know, I've seen how a society, look, dude, there's no secret that we all think that we're different and like our way is better. Like, and it's not even about the color of your skin. If you do this business, then I think my way is better. If you work at McDonald's, I think that what I do is better. If you're, you know, you may play, I suck at sports, so you may play basketball and you may be better than me and be like, hey, well, what I do is better, right? It's all perception on what you actually fucking care about. And the way that we feel comfortable with ourselves. Skin color is just another thing. Job title, where we're from is another thing. Like, you're from Utah. What are you, a Mormon? You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, you're from Texas. Where are you, Southern Baptist? You know what I mean? Oh, you're from Iran. What are you, a Muslim? Like, it's all that. Like, it's all the same type of shit. And the sooner that you come to grips with that, I believe the sooner that we can all have a real conversation. It's like, oh, so that's why you don't pull your pants up. Well, here's the reason why our people seem to fucking always steal from everybody, right? Like, we can have all these, like, here's the reason why our dudes lose all your fucking money in the stock market every year, right? So what do you have these fucking conversations and be real about it?
So here's a question, right? Because I totally agree with you. Like, here's the deal. I've gone through this myself. I was a judgmental prick for a lot of years, and I still am in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
everybody is. And if you're listening to this and you think that you're not judgmental, you're just a liar.
Delusional.
You're just a liar. Plain and simple. So what's like with the conversation of racism? I mean, it's not what it was 10 years ago. It's not what it was when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so freaking heightened and it's so like dramatic now. It's like almost like there's this massive spotlight shining down on it. Why? Like, what's your opinion? Why do you think that way right now? I mean, we have a black president. Like, in my opinion, I was thinking that we were going to break down some barriers. We were going to create some kind of synergy, if you will, in the race conversation. But it seems to me that, dude, we're going the opposite way.
Oh, why? Yeah, I agree.
Why do you think?
Well, because first of all, stupid people, like literally stupid people, get to say the easiest thing to blame, and that's like the old way of like in race, like, oh, our president's an idiot because he's black. No, and I don't believe our president's an idiot. But again, like I said, he had $75,000 in his bank account, so he owes a lot of people favors. He's really smart because he's dealt with all of them and not got shot in the fucking head like JFK did, right? So obviously he's got some level of intellect, but at the same time, you know, you can't. Everybody thought Bush was an idiot too. Look, I live on the same street as George W. Bush. I could see his house from my deal right here. He's not an idiot, bro. You don't live like that. the name of the expressway that we're on right here is named after him. You don't get all that by being an idiot. You don't get elected president by being an idiot. So, but
like common people, me and you, like the reality is a white cop shoots a black kid shoots a white kid. I mean, instantly, like, it's just like this insanely charged racism, and let's ban something, let's shoot somebody, let's freaking riot, let's flip over some cars, let's burn our city down. Like, that's what I don't understand, man. When I was a kid, like, we just didn't, we didn't roll like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a ton of black friends growing up. I grew up in Washington, D.C. I mean, I played on the baseball team. There were black kids and white kids on the baseball team. A majority of the basketball players in our school were black kids. I mean, I just didn't grow up that way. And nowadays, like literally, there's so much ferocity in the race conversation. Like, black people and white people just genuinely, like, have a dislike for each other like I've never seen before, and I don't get it.
Well, check this out. Like, the world's going to be shocked right here. But, man, I didn't grow up like that, Sean. I grew up in this town called Allen, Texas. And this town's like fucking Illuminati Central. Now, my parents weren't rich, right? And nobody was really super wealthy in this city, but it was a majority of a Mormon city, even though my family's not Mormon either. But like Mormon settlement happened there. So there was like maybe 6 black people in the whole entire city, right? So I didn't really get to see like black people on a regular basis, honestly, until I went to prison. So I went from living in like basically an all white city where it wasn't no thing. It's like, I wasn't taught to be racist or not. It wasn't like that. It was just like, I didn't see them on a regular basis. There was only a couple in school, and they were just like normal kids like the rest of us. Yeah. But it was a very, very few of them. It wasn't anything like that. So I got to like learn. And honestly, I was one of those like dumbass dudes like Jamie Kennedy or whatever. Like, I like listen to rap music, skater and all that shit, right? So I had a fucking lesson to really learn really quick once I got to prison. It's like, oh shit, like y'all aren't all friendly towards white people. Fuck, right? Like I had some really hard lessons to learn just because I wasn't introduced on any level like that, right? I was kind of like Steve Martin in The Jerk. Like, what do you mean I'm not black, right? So, and so I kind of went through all that and everything else. But at the same time, with the whole thing, it's like, I think if we just start having conversations with each other, if we just start communicating like and being like, hey man, in all reality, there's certain races that are better at certain things that, like, it's obviously that like the African American community is better at sports and entertainment and things of that nature than fucking any of my black friends. They're a hell of a lot funnier than my white friends. You know what I'm saying? That's not racist. Like, that's just saying, but there's certain people that are better at certain things, right? You know what I mean? Like a majority of obviously athletes are African American here in America, but the majority of the people that manage money on Wall Street are Jewish, right? There's certain stereotypes that people actually do fit into that if we just start embracing that and maybe like, trying to help each other, encourage each other, understand why things are the way that they are, we would all get along so much better, right? Like, what if you went to school and you took an aptitude test and they would have told me in kindergarten, Stewman, you can't throw a football for fucking shit, bro. So don't waste your parents' fucking money. Don't get them to pay thousands of dollars a year in football equipment because you're a fucking fool. You're not even going to finish school anyway. Statistics show that you're going to drop out at 17. So let's get you into sales, buddy. Right? Like, you're not going to do anything but talk. What if there was something, and it exists, the data and the smartness and the technology's out there, but instead we're all fucking trying to hide that shit. And it's not about, at this point, it's not even about the color of your skin. It's about what you would do better as a person, but they don't want to tell you that because what if that's not what you wanted to do? What if you wanted to be, a basketball player and turns out you're going to be a midget? You know what I mean? Like, you're never going to grow above like whatever the height that midget is, right? Like, that's an actual term or whatever, right? Like,
you realize we were talking about racism, now you're going to have little people pissed off at us.
And I figure we just go all in. And I'm not trying to make anybody mad. I'm just like using extreme measures here, right?
Yeah,
so,
but here's the thing, like, this is what I agree with you. Like, I mean, that's the whole
like forcing me to do math, right? It's like trying to say, it's like me saying I want to be a rocket scientist. That's not fit for me.
Totally agree. Like, my thing is like conversations, bro. Like, being able to sit down and have real conversations. And the problem is you don't have those anymore. Like, you can't have them. The media's not showing that shit. I mean, you get real dudes sitting down in a room like this having a conversation. Like, a bunch of my employees, I got a bunch of dudes in Detroit. I mean, those of you that know me know I flip a lot of houses in Detroit. And 95% of the people that I work with in Detroit are black. And 95% of those 95%, think Al Sharpton is just as big of an asshole as I think he is.
Absolutely.
But that's not what's being
That's just people
perpetuated and talked about and whatever. And it's like, when you get real with people and raw with people, I don't think it's as bad as we really think it is. It's just that the media thing, this whole media world and whatever the hell you want to call it, literally just, like, it's like hitting a freaking hornet's nest with a bat. You hit a hornet's nest with a bat, and all of a sudden it just goes absolutely crazy. And I feel like that's where we're at with racism and the gay conversation. I mean, these people, these Christians, just bashing and going batshit crazy over this gay marriage ruling and the whole thing. And it's just like, you guys get so freaking riled up and hyped up by what you see on TV. Like, really? Like, seriously, that's the depth of your intellect, that you're going to go that batshit crazy over something like this?
Well, and the crazy thing is, while that was going on in gay marriage, like, it's just like anything else, man. Like, y'all didn't catch me saying this, right, even though it's streaming live. But, you know, the dudes are dudes, right? Whether you're in a lesbian relationship or a gay relationship, dudes are dudes. So some dudes don't want to get married. So right now there's dudes out there is like, dude, man, I can't believe that fucking my boyfriend pulled this shit off. Now I got to, like, figure out another excuse not to get married. I don't want to have to, like, do through all, like, there's people in the gay community that hate that as well. Like, they had the ultimate cop out on why not to commit to somebody for forever, right? And then the ones that wanted it, I would imagine was a minority, honestly, of that community, right? Because that's just like I actually have a lot of gay and lesbian friends, so I'm, like, in those conversations pretty well. But at the same time, you know, I think what's going to go on there is that, you know, Obama will go down in history as being a good president that did some really cool things for our people. You know, Texas, our governor is acting like an idiot. I call our governor Hot Wheels. He's in a wheelchair, right? He's, like, always mad and bullying people around shit, so I call him Hot Wheels Abbott. He's fucking trying to ban this shit. But, you know, I live in Dallas, Texas. We had the first, you know, couple married right the day that it happened or whatever. But here's the deal. All that's a distraction.
Before you say this, I'm going to say this, like, because this is my viewpoint on racism, on the gay conversation. No one, I don't care if you were born in Crackerville. You know what I'm saying? There's, like, a racial slur. That's like black.
Crackerville, is that Utah or Texas? I feel like there's
probably you were born in Crackerville. It was only, like, what, 9 black people? Here's the reality. I don't care if you were born in Crackerville. It doesn't matter. No one is born hating homosexuals. No one is born hating black people. No one is born hating Jews. No one is born hating Middle Eastern people. Plain and simple. The doctor doesn't come out, smack you on the ass and say, you should hate all black people. Here you go. No one says that. You should hate all the gays. Go. That shit's learned. Period. That shit's learned. Absolutely. That is not how we're I mean, that plain and simple. No one is born. I don't care if you're born into a black home, a white home, a Middle East. It does not matter. No one is born as a bigot. No one is born hating anything. When you're a kid, you fucking love everything, bro. You love everything. You'll play with any kid that wants to throw the football around, ride boats, whatever. It doesn't matter if he's gay, his parents are gay, he's got 2 dads or 2 moms, if he's got, you know, black parents, it doesn't matter. Kids are not born that way. We're programmed that way. Yeah. Plain and simple, done and done. We're absolutely programmed that way through media, through stereotypes. And ultimately, like, my parents didn't teach me to hate anybody anytime, but, you know, my grandfather grew up in New York City, where there was the Irish part of town, there was the Jewish part of town, there was the black part of town. I mean, he grew up in the old school days, dude, like in the Great Depression time. He had his thoughts and his feelings about everybody, and that's where, you know what I mean, I think a lot of kids are learning this stuff is you hear the racial slurs, you hear the things, you hear the music, you hear all this other stuff, and these kids just literally start growing up being programmed, and it's like, I just want to make that point. That's how I feel, is like, literally no one, you have to unlearn that shit. You either have to unlearn it or you got to reprogram it in your head, because what you're talking about is dead on, in the sense that, you know, we're all thinking that this society needs to do this, or this society, or this color, or this creed, or this sex, or whatever. And at the end of the day, like, when you stop judging people, I'm not trying to get all biblical on you and whatever. When you read Matthew chapter 5, Matthew chapter 7, the Sermon on the Mount, when you start judging people, that's your problem. Period. If a white dude shoots a black guy, a black dude shoots a white guy, I mean, it is what it is, but those people were not born bigots, born to hate.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, the other thing is this all a distraction from the TPP. Are you aware of what that is and what's been going on behind the scenes?
Check this out. You're going to be happy. Look at what I got pulled up right now on my laptop. Where'd you go? I can't do it. How am I going to do a show with this? He disappears. He's gone.
Hey, I'll be right back. Hang on.
Where'd you go? So I'm going to jump on.
Hold on.
Yeah. So
sorry, I'm trying to juggle many.
Hang on. I'm getting to some fans here while you're freaking out, tricking around. When my beard grows up, it hopes to look as awesome as your beard. Ember Studio, thank you. I do have a devilishly handsome beard. No one is predestined towards anything. Society encourages certain races towards certain things. Yeah, cool. Totally agree with that. The problem is no one can take any criticism. If you suck at something, it doesn't matter what color you are. Plain and simple. We got a society of freaking pussies. Plain and simple.
We do. Everybody wins a fucking trophy.
You remember that lady? You remember that chick, the mom who grabbed her son when they were riding in Baltimore, and the kid had the ski mask on, and she was beating the hell out of that kid in the street?
Yeah.
God bless that woman. All of a sudden, people are calling like Division of Child Family Services, and I'm like, that chick should get an award. She should be teaching parenting classes from coast to coast, not getting called. But dude, just so you know, look at this. Look what I got pulled up. I don't know if you can see that. What is the Trans-Pacific Partnership? I've been studying this stuff, and you want to talk about, I mean, this is like a whole other conversation for a whole other day. Why are we talking about Confederate flags and gay marriage and this and that and the other? Exactly. Why, bro? This is like scary shit.
Scary shit. And they needed something just like Bruce Jenner or Caitlyn or whatever the fuck you want to call that weirdo. It's something to distract you from what's going on. You know, nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
And you can't say that oh, dude, he just called him a weirdo. Well, he's not fucking normal. So what do you call people that aren't normal, right? Normal people like do what they do. So I'm saying. But so there's a lot of things going on, man. And, you know, one of the things that one of my mentors taught me in 2012 was one of the things that you got to be really good at in business is being a magician and not explaining what's going on, but getting the market to focus on one hand while you're really doing everything that you're really doing with the other. And the media, if you read the book, the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, I've actually met Robert Greene. That's a great book. It's the #1 read book in prison, actually, as well. And so if you'll read that, it'll teach you like the us versus them and how to get people distracted and stuff like that. And like it'll give you times in governments in the Roman Empire and you know, Genghis Khan area and all that stuff. So the reason why I say all that is the media these days, first of all, Joe Rogan said this first, so I'm not going to act like this is the original quote, but I know I'm not very smart, right? I know I'm stupid, but yet I'm smarter than majority of the people that I meet, which is really scary, right? Like I know, like I'm self-aware that I'm not like an intelligent person. I don't have any formal education. Only thing I know is shit I read off the internet.
You make more money than most people on the planet, and the reality is, like what you just said about Bush living like right down the street, whatever. You can't be a fucking idiot living down there. So don't discredit yourself, bro.
But I'm not like, I don't understand math and think. I'm just a good salesperson, right? Now, smart people, I've never invented nothing that we're using here device-wise did I invent or even come up with. So you see like when I say smart, I mean somebody who's like really intelligent, right? And so majority of people that I meet are misinformed or don't understand her. You see your posts get, you know, thousands of people that leave comments on them, and you get to see them. And on one hand, you want to argue with the misinformed people, but on the other, you want to be like, brother, man, I'm so sorry that you don't understand, man. Like, but it's like, and you want to help them out, but they ain't trying to hear it, right? I got a homeboy right now. He's on drugs. He's in a bad situation. I love him to death. And I've tried to have the conversation with him about like, hey man, you know, you need to get it together. I want to help you out. But he ain't trying to fucking hear it. I've got my shit together. I don't even know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, you know how it is, right? This is same people. They're in denial of their situation. Just like I just said, hey, I know I'm not that smart. That's me being self-aware. At least I'm not like, oh, I'm a genius. That's why I live here in this nice place. No, I just happen to be a hard worker that over 5 years saving money and getting here has gotten me where I'm at, right? This could all be gone tomorrow for all I know. I don't have any kind of substantial way of staying here. I don't own this shit. So it is what it is, right? But in the meantime, I'm smart enough to, or self-aware enough to know that I'm not that smart. Meanwhile, a lot of people really think they're smart and they aren't, right? You ever hear somebody go, dude, look, like, man, dude, I'm super smart. Let me tell you this shit. And you're like, that is fucking idiotic. And you're a public figure, so you probably get 10 times the messages I do of people that think they have bright ass ideas, and you're like, that's fucking like kindergarten level thinking, man.
Dude,
right? I have people pitch me all the time on why I should do what their plan is, and their plan involves me doing all the work for them. Like, you know, but I'm here and you're there. Why would we put ourselves in that situation, right?
So somebody just asked, what is this show? Coder Media asked, what is this show about? It's about whatever.
It's Sean and Ryan talking, man. Sean and Stewman show.
Just talking, bro. It's Ryan smoking a joint and me chilling in my office with Abe Lincoln, right?
I am.
Let's see. You want to know what Caitlyn Jenner's dog repeatedly said to the cat? I have no idea.
Tell us.
Tell us. What did he say? I agree with you, dude. Here's the thing, though. Like, everybody has their own deal, right? I'm good at certain things, you're good at certain things, and I think that, like, at the end of the day, we try and there comes a level, like, I spent a lot of my life in this business. Before my divorce, before my bankruptcy, I mean, I had it all figured out. I was a multimillionaire by 26. I had 4 cars sitting in my driveway. I had $100,000 freaking 4 houses. I mean, I knew everything there was to know about money, right? Really, I knew nothing about money. I had no damn clue. It took me going down a crazy path and going bankrupt and getting divorced and actually shit out. But I don't think people like I was talking to Katie. We were driving home from the Ironman race the other day, and like, when you stop and think about it, like, all of the lessons that you really learn, if you think about every major experience of your life, you talk about prison a lot, you know what I'm saying, and how much you learned and how educated you were from that. If you think about it, that wasn't like, oh, shoot, dude, I get to go to jail for a little bit of time. Like, I'm going to learn a ton of shit here, right? You're kind of, like, scared out of your mind. But when you think about it, that was a dark spot.
Yep.
Yet it was extraordinarily powerful. And if you think about it, and everybody listening to this, if you think about, like, the biggest, like, grandest experiences that you've had, you can't have a banner and I don't have a banner. Get that shit.
The last 3 minutes, I'm trying to, like, advertise my shit. Should have had it all along.
Get the banner off, bro. If you're going to put a banner, you're going to put a banner up for me. But if you think about it, like, the biggest shit that you've dealt with, like, for me, the biggest experiences, the most monumental experiences that I've dealt with in my life have come from the darkest periods, the darkest corners of, like, depth, insanity. But here's the thing. Most people are scared to go. Most people are scared. So intellectually, we're like, oh, I know all this shit. Yeah, I read in a book once. I mean, I'll never forget this as long as I live. Before I got divorced, my ex-wife and I would go to this counselor. We went to a ton of counselors, a ton of therapists.
Yeah,
we walk in, young. He's like crazy young, and I'm like, all right, cool, I can roll with this. And he's got all the accolades and the PhDs and the MBAs and all kinds of stuff on his wall. And we start talking, and he's like, so tell me your story. Tell me what's going on. So my wife goes, she's talking, and I start talking. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I kind of start talking, and I'm looking at him like, are you married? Like, oh, well, no, I'm not married. So you've been divorced, right? No, I've never been divorced. I've never been married. And it was one of those things where I stopped and I looked at my ex-wife and I'm like,
Jimi Hendrix, are you experienced?
What the hell is this guy going to talk to us about? And so I'm like, bro, like, no offense, but like, what are you going to well, I've read books and I've been to the college and he starts writing. He's like, I've got the PhD and the whole thing. And I'm like, bro, you have no clue, man. You've never spent a night like thinking about like leaving your 10-year marriage and what it's going to do to your kids. You've never had that pain that's just like etched in your soul and your mind of like the misery of I've ruined everything. Like you've never thought about that. You've never been there. So how the hell are you going to talk to me about that? So what you're talking about being smart versus like real life, real experiences. I'm not telling people to like purposely go after the darkness. I'm not telling people to run into it and the whole thing. But the reality is, the more you run away from it, the more you dodge the scary shit, the more you dodge the conversations about gay marriage, about racism, about you're a dude and you have feelings for a dude, but you're trying to be the macho dude who's like banging a bunch of chicks. And the more you run away from like all of the dark, scary shit in your life, the harder your life's gonna be. Period. And I think that's truthfully, Ryan, why you and I do well talking together, and why, I mean, truthfully, a lot of people are attracted to what we talk about is because like, you don't have any bones talking about, I've been to prison, I fucked up, yeah, and I love weed, and I love whatever, and like, you're just totally open with it. And I'm kind of like, yeah, I lost $9.5 million And I thought that I had it all, and yeah, I was hanging out with Donald Trump at 28 years old and thought that I was a baller, and I fucked it all up. And I'm totally cool talking about that. And I think that's the reason people. So to me, like when you talk about education, being smart, whatever, I would much rather sit down with a therapist or a counselor who's been where I've been, who's been through that shit, that he and I can have a conversation about that stuff, than somebody that's read it in a book or is educated or smart on that level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. My industry's full of that. It's full of a bunch of people that, try to coach other people or consult other people on, how to be successful when they failed themselves. So, I mean, that's rampant in a lot of industries and just people in general. It's
here's a question for you. JD Alt, I think that's Jason. That's my boy Jason. He just said, who is your role model and why? That's a question for you, dude. Who's your role model and why?
Man, I have several role models. I don't guess I have one person in particular that I would pick, that I would, because I like to pick. I think if you're going to choose a role model, you might as well choose traits of the right people and try to mold the proper traits. Because, for example, one person might be really well at one thing, but might have a shitty attitude, and so you don't want to adopt that, but they might be brilliant, So my role models are for sure Elon Musk. That guy's an innovator. One of my favorite quotes from him is that, I'm going to fudge the numbers here, but, he made $180 million from selling PayPal. He took 150 of it and invested into SpaceX, and he put 30 of it into Tesla, and had to borrow rent from his parents to pay, his rent that month. He's just he's invented these batteries lately, and the gigafactory that they're doing out there outside of Las Vegas, like the guy's really brilliant, and he really is a change agent, like Nikola Tesla, honestly, for our time and era, and I really dig that. Another one of my role models is Eminem. Eminem has built a huge empire on being himself. He's never apologized for being himself. He's been honest about everything from the way his family treated him to the way that he's had drug addictions. He's never had to, be racist against anybody. He's never had to have any controversy outside of things that people have attacked him. You know what I mean? He's just been able to be himself and stand by everything that he believes in and be one of the most successful entertainers of all time. People don't even understand how wealthy that fucking guy is.
Oh, yeah.
Another one of my and so I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. Another one of my role models would be, actually, if you go to hardcorecloser.com.
I can't be pimping that shit out here, bro.
Oh, dude, shameless plug. There's the 30 top badasses of all time. Like, I wrote this blog post, right? And so, it's the people that have influenced me the most. The people, Jesus is one of them, right? Because people try to portray Jesus as this sweet, innocent dude that they hung on a cross and he just went up there willingly and everything else. Dude, he was in the temple just a few days before, flipping over desks, and all the people, brood of vipers today would be like, fuck you, motherfucker, what you gonna do? It's the same. We just have an escalation of language. Joe Rogan would probably be the person that I have the most respect for right at this moment. As far as the role model, if I could single out one particular person that if I could be like them more in more ways than one in my life and everything else, I believe Joe would be it. I like his comedic style. I like what he stands for. I like that he's unapologetic. I like that he works really hard. And I just have a lot of respect for the dude, right? I have tried to get him to do a mastermind for young comedians a couple of times with me, and he's hard to get in touch with. And I don't blame him. I'm sure there's a lot of dumbasses reaching out to him. If anybody watching wants to hook me and Joe up, dude, I got something that's going to be able to give back to the community, which I'm really good at doing. And it'll make me and Joe some money in the meanwhile. Can't go wrong with that. And probably make everybody who gets involved with it as well some money, or at least have them live in their passion by doing comedy and stuff. But probably I would say Joe. So who are your role models, man?
Dude, that's a tough question, man. I gotta think about that. I'm kind of the same way. I've had I grew up without my dad. My parents split up when I was 13, 14 years old. And so I grew up kind of with a lot of dads. I like to say it. A lot of dudes that were really, really instrumental in my life. But I mean, Jesus, obviously, like I look at him not just from a biblical sense, but just in the sense that like what he did, how he did it, in that he came and spoke to the people that need it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I spent a lot of years like taking and taking and taking, and I feel way more attached now to the idea of a godlike figure. Not saying that me, but like I just feel like what he did and how he shared and how he motivated and uplifted people was but yeah, I mean, dude, Steve Jobs, huge, man. Like I read Steve Jobs' biography, and I felt like I like literally connected with that dude, like had just an insane amount of connection with how he was, like just being kind of an outcast of sorts. Like you either loved him or you thought he was the biggest asshole on the planet. But what he did and how fierce he was in commitment to his vision and to what he wanted to do, and like literally people would tell him no, and he's like, fuck you, I'm going, and he would go. Dude, Steve Jobs was like, you know, somebody that from 30,000 feet, just reading about him and watching him and whatever else. Never met him, but that's the kind of guy that I'm attracted to. So I'm a lot like him in the sense, like I just mean things with people. You know what I mean? Like I'm constantly. Paul Arden wrote a book, Steal Like an Artist. No, sorry, it's Austin Klein, who wrote that book, Steal Like an Artist. Don't constantly steal. I'm constantly stealing like good attributes, good traits, good things, good ideas from people, and just putting my own spin on it. But you know, it's there's a lot of role models. You know what I'm saying? So, there's somebody wrote something here. Smart people, lose your role model. Did you get anybody to say putting up anything on Periscope?
I'm looking right now on Facebook. Some people say they're not impressed by me, but that's okay. I wasn't here to impress. I'm just here to talk anyway.
What they say?
They said that we should left out firearms and religion. We got to leave like tacos, right? Leave it to Rachel, the food queen, for tacos. But you know, we gotta save time for other episodes too. We can't just talk about everything tonight, right? Like all getting all out. So
dude, we don't even know
how. We haven't even like set up how long the show was gonna be. This is what happened, y'all. Sean hit me up last week, and like literally, I could like even show you the screenshot, right? Like Sean hit me up. He's like, "Hey man, we should do some sort of hangout." I was like, "Yeah, man, totally." He's like, "How about Thursday?" I'm like, "How about Wednesday?" Or no, I said, "How about Thursday?" And you go, "How about Wednesday?" Because I have date night on Thursday or whatever the case may be, right? Wasn't that what it was? And so we decided to do it. It's like, all right, well, the only thing is we do it once. If we do it once, we got to do it every week, right? Like that's the only catch. We do it once, we got to do it every week. And I'm like, are you down? He's like, yeah. All right, I'm down. And then this morning, I reached out and said, hey, man, we're still down for tonight, right? Yeah, absolutely. And then about 5 minutes before we got on here, that's how we roll. That's like how we did this whole thing. It was like, hey, man, do you want to do this? Yeah. Hey, what should we talk about? I have notes. Y'all want to see my notes? My notes say 3 things: the flag, Donald Trump, and the TPP. I'm out of material, everybody. That's it. That's all I had for tonight.
Dude, we haven't even talked about the TPP. Yo, so check this out. I don't know how to get off a Meerkat and pick this up. So here's what I'm going to do.
I'm not leaving you. I'm just refilling.
I listened to this podcast when I was running in Detroit about a month and a half ago from a guy. I don't remember his name, but I'm afraid if I shut off my phone, it's going to cut all you. There's like 190 people on Meerkat right now, which I'm like freaking jacked out of my mind about, dude. I love it. Meerkat. What's up, Meerkat? So I'm going to post on our Facebook. So either go to Ryan's Facebook or my Facebook. I'm going to post the podcast. I don't get blown away very often. Blew my freaking mind. Blew my mind.
We need to come up with the name for this shit because I'm going to turn this into a podcast as well.
I'm talking about the TPP for a second.
Sorry.
I'm going to post the link to this podcast. If you don't know what the TPP is, if you don't know what Ryan's talking about, what I'm talking about, this is like next level, global economic, like insane shit. Like literally, like it's not conspiracy theory. This is stuff that's been going on. It will blow your freaking mind. So I'll post the link on my page and your page to this podcast, and it'll blow your mind. It'll absolutely blow your mind. It'll scare the shit out of you, plain and simple. So if you're not down to get scared, don't watch it. You know what I mean?
So here's what we need from everybody. We need to come up with, like Sean, we need to come up with a hashtag so that we can have people give us, because we're going to do this every week. So we need topics. We need topics. So, and we don't want to talk about shit that nobody wants to hear. So we want to make sure that we're talking about stuff that you guys actually want to hear about. So we're going to need some way for people to chime in. So if you're friends with us on Facebook, shoot us a message with some topics. You know, say, hey, man, you and O. Whalen, you should talk about this, that, and the other. And you know what? Me and O. Whalen, we'll probably talk about it, right? Just shoot us some, if friends with Sean, talk about him. Hey, you and O. Stewman, y'all should talk about some shit. We probably talk about it on here. The other thing is, if you're on Twitter, I'm at Ryan Stewman, and you can tweet me and say, hey, you and Sean should talk about this next week. Just however the hell that you have a way to contact us. I see all that. Nobody runs my social media. So anything you see, you send, anything that I have, I see it. So like, see it, I see it.
Hey, so I've got a question.
Saw it together. And
before we stop
it together. What?
Before we stop.
We don't have to stop.
Are you drinking wine right now?
Nah, man, I am drinking whiskey and lemonade, my man.
All right. I thought you were putting ice cubes in your wine, bro.
Nah, bro.
I was gonna buy you a rainbow T-shirt.
Nah, man, but you know what? I have my profile picture turned to a rainbow until somebody sent me a link saying that was how they were identifying pedophiles or some shit. I'm like, man, everybody's always got goddamn jokes.
Facebook was running it's crazy, dude. Like, I'm telling you, Mark Zuckerberg, he's no dummy, dude.
That was a good behavioral study, for sure.
Totally. 28 million people. 28 million people in a matter of like a day changed their thing to this rainbow deal.
Yeah. That's a good, but the real, they said the real data was in how long you left it that way. I'm already back to a different profile picture. And so some people like immediately changed. So that was how they gauged how really passionate you were about this subject.
The people that still support gay marriage they still got the rainbow things. All right, so here's the deal. We're gonna man card is retained. I don't know what the hell that means. All right, you got like 10 seconds. Me and Ryan are gonna wrap it up here because I'm going to a soccer game, a Real game. I'm gonna go have some drinks with my hot lady friend here. Ask us one question. One question on Meerkat, one question on Periscope, and we'll answer it right now.
Shoot us a question on Periscope here, and we'll answer your question, talk about your topic. One last thing before we go. Go ahead, shoot right now through the chat.
Here, Ryan, in your and Ryan's opinions, what should be the plan to put America back to work? America back to work. What do you think, son?
Actually, you know, I try to oversimplify things. So, like, my answer is probably going to be like, oh, dude, if it was that easy, then why didn't you do it kind of shit, you know? But really, I think going back to work starts with people wanting to work. You know, I have a lot of friends when I was in my 20s. This is going to fuck a lot of you up, right? But I don't care. When I was in my 20s, man, I had all these friends that they had a car, they had an apartment, they had TVs, they had DVD players, they had all this shit that I didn't have, and I worked, right? I made about $15 an hour, and I worked, and they had all this shit, and all they did was go to college, and their parents didn't pay for this shit. But I didn't realize that they were living on student loans. So what I learned from that lesson later in life when I was doing mortgage for these same people that have massive amounts of school debt, no degrees, because all they were trying to do was continue to be able to figure out some way to get loans and not have to go to work, right? If I can sit in a classroom and get money to sit in the classroom versus go and sit at an office job and actually get money for sitting at an office job, at least in the classroom, I have an excuse for being a failure and not succeeding in a life. And that's the fact that I'm learning, right? And so I know that in order to get people back to work, they have to actually want to work. You see, a lot of people, I live in Dallas, Texas, so I don't live wherever you guys live, right? So I live in Dallas, Texas. If you don't have a job here, like it's illegal to be homeless in Dallas. And when I say illegal to be homeless, you can't sleep on the streets, you can't sleep on the benches, you can't panhandle. It's illegal to panhandle. I see all day long when people try to hold up street signs out here, the cops come tell them to get out the streets, right? They have to tell you twice, you get arrested. Like, it is a very clean city, and the reason why, it's not because we're dicks, right? Which may be the case too. But it's not because we're dicks, but it's because we have jobs here and we're trying to keep the lazy fucking people out of our city. Okay, so I think the first step towards getting America back to work is America actually deciding that it wants to work. Now, obviously, it's only a 7% unemployment rate, and if you do the government numbers right, it's actually like a 14 or 18% unemployment rate right now, which isn't like, it's obviously not the majority of people, but at the same time, everybody's worried about all these entitlement, getting more money for minimum wage, right? And like, hey, I only want to do the minimum, but I want you to pay me more for doing the minimum. As soon as we get rid of mentalities like that, then we'll be able to get more people back to work. The other thing is, look, you're looking right in the eyes right now of someone who should not have a job and should not have money. I've been to prison twice. I've been bankrupt. I lost my financial license. I've been divorced 3 times. I'm adopted. I've like had I don't have a high school diploma. Every negative experience that you could have with someone that should have an excuse to be unsuccessful in this country right now, you're looking dead in that motherfucker's eyes, right? So if you think about that for a second, so if I'm able to live, I live in the penthouse in the nicest building in all of Dallas. There's not a nicer building in any part of Dallas, north, south, east, west, downtown, midtown. I live in it. My neighbor's Prince Fielder for the Texas Rangers, right? That's the kind of, my neighbor, there's 9 Ferraris in our garage out here. That's the kind of place that I live in, right? There's 2 McLarens and multiple Bentleys, right? Like I live in that place, okay? So the reason why I'm saying that if I can get here, and I can come back from 2 terms in prison, all the things that I listen to, and people say, well, what are we going to do to get America back to work? We need to instill apparently some fraction of the mentality that I have in my mind towards the American public to get them back to work. Because first you have to want to work. Because it would be easy right now for me to figure out how to get welfare benefits and not have to pay employees that work for me and not have to pay $50,000 a year in taxes like I'm doing right now and all these other things that I'm dealing with, right? It would be really easy to plug in and be a victim of the system. But instead, I wanted to work. I wanted to get back. I wanted to do more, and I wanted to still be successful against all odds. That way, when somebody does say, what does it take to get America back to work? I just say, hey, take a look at me and follow what kind of shit that I did. So,
can I get a round of applause for my boy Ryan? That's it. We're wrapping on that. I can't top that. I'm not even going to try and top that. Like, that's the deal. This is what this show's about. You want to know what the show's about? If you just heard what Ryan said, that's what the hell this show's about. If you like it, God bless America. If you don't like it, God bless America. You know what I'm saying? So, dude, love it. Love it. So here's the deal. We're going to wrap with this. Ryan's going to post on his Facebook. I'm going to post on my Facebook. If you're not friends with us, hit us up on Facebook. Next week, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start taking questions from people, answering questions from people, and just doing whatever the hell we want every single week. So there's literally 223 people right now on Meerkat. I don't know how Meerkat works. This is my first thing, my first streaming thing. But dude, there's a shit ton of people on Meerkat, and I'm super stoked about it. I know there's people on Facebook that are already liking what we're talking about, already hating what we're talking about. Cool. Either way, cool.
Hey, after a couple of weeks, what we'll do is we'll start like a Facebook group for everybody that's a fan of the show, so that they can like interact and things like that. Keep the conversation going on from there. So, hey, thanks for hanging out, man. I'll catch you next week. I'll probably talk to you tomorrow, bro. But you know what I'm saying. I'll catch you next week on the show, and have fun at soccer. Tell the family I said hello, and that's it, man. We're out.
See you, people.